1-foot tower over here, and you get the picture.
Okay.
This built in the early 60s. For about 15 years, it was a question. Was this land going to be privately developed, or was it going to be preserved for public lakefront? And the residents, by the hundreds, no, the thousands, rose up and said, undoubtedly, and it's certainly no mystery, it's no big drama, they said no, and they were very successful in that campaign. They set up booths, they said they walked the beaches, and meanwhile, the city told them, we're broke. You've heard that before. They said, well, here, we're going to give you a priority. Let's tell us which beaches you want. And they said, list, priority, there is no such thing. Take it. They told them that, well, maybe we can put up turnstiles at the beaches. Pay as you go. Well, they gave them the same response. No way. This campaign, the school kids came down, they got sand, they put them in little packages, they sent that down to City Hall. When City Hall had a meeting about building permits and zoning changes and so on, they flooded the place. They came down and they got organized. The Rogers Park Community Council was formed, they had about 74 different organizations in it. And the Save the Beaches campaign got rolling. They got organized. And at this point, I'm not going any further, because I'm going to give you Julia Backrack from the Chicago Park District, and she's going to help you feel, well, what the heck did Tobey have to do with this anyway?
Tobey's coming over us. What a beautiful day, right? So, usually I just speak, but I really was so excited about this, I actually had to write out my comments here. So I'm honored to be here for this wonderful occasion in which this lovely lakefront open space is dedicated as Tobey Prinz Beach Park. A decade ago, there were two dynamic women who served on the Chicago Park District Board of Commissioners, and they asked me to make a list of all the parks named in honor of women. So I started doing this analysis, and when I looked at the list, as I went through every single park, at that time we had 555 parks, I was kind of taken aback when I found out there were only 27 parks at that time, in 2004, that were named in honor of women. Some of these were significant women on the list of 27. The list included Emma Lazarus, who wrote the famous poem on the base of the Statue of Liberty. There was a park named for the prison reformer Ma Houston, Nobel Prize winner Madame Curie, and there were two parks at the time named for Jane Addams, Chicago's famous social reformer. But this total list of 27 also included the names of the wives and daughters of developers. And so, as you can see, there was a real deficit in honoring important Chicago women. And so, as I began, they actually gave me this project to name more parks for Chicago women. What a great project to work on, right? Yeah, I know. I often look awesome jobs. So as I began collecting information to help guide these efforts, I was really fortunate because a book had just been published, a really fantastic book. It's hugely thick, and it's called Women Building Chicago, 1790 to 1990. And this book has the biographies of 400 women who made important contributions to the city, the streets of Chicago women. And so that was how I learned about Tobey Prinz. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there is a very, very lengthy, well-documented entry in this wonderful book about Tobey Prinz. And so I put Tobey on my list of historical figures who I thought were worthy of a park. And as I began my effort, it sort of didn't move forward. At that time, we were in different parts, and that one just really didn't move forward. So then, fast forward about 10 years, 8 years, whatever, I got a call from Fred, and he said, I'm the son of Tobey Prinz. And I was like, oh, that's wonderful. I tried to name a park for her. And he said, oh, well, I want to name a park for her. And I said, well, the process is quite political, and you need a lot of community support. And he said, well, that's not a problem. So look around you. There's a lot of community support. So it was really exciting because I find Tobey to be such an inspiring figure, and I'm so thrilled that Fred was able to move the process forward. And and get the support of the entire community and the elected officials who realize the value of having this park named for Tobey Prinz. And now I'm going to do a really short summary because you can go get that book, you can check it out at the library or go buy that book and read the really long version. I'm going to log this summary and then I just have to tell you personally how I feel about this. So Tobey Prinz was a teacher, community activist, and an advocate for lakefront green space. In the 1950s, she was a founding member of the Rogers Park Community Council, and she served as the organization's vice president and as its conservation committee chairman. In addition to her commitment to the Rogers Park community, she was devoted to ensuring social justice for all Americans. She attended the March on Washington in 1963, helped organize Education versus Racism, the second conference in the United States to promote the teaching of African American studies in the schools, an award-winning initiative. Related to improving life in Rogers Park are too many to describe today, but I'd like to summarize some of her work to protect and preserve parks and open space on the north side. When developers wanted to convert the beautiful old Braemore Country Club into a shopping center and housing complex, Tobey helped lead a successful campaign to convert the site into Warren Park. In the 1950s and 60s, I live right around here, so I'm I'm also thrilled on a personal level to have these open spaces. Tobey helped lead a successful, oh, I'm sorry, I already said that part. In the 1950s and 60s, she became alarmed when the lakefront property right here along Lake Michigan was rapidly being replaced with high-rise development. Although Chicago's zoning ordinance then encouraged such development, now it seems like a shock, but that was before the Lakefront Protection Ordinance. So at the time, the ordinance encouraged the development of high-rises on the lakefront. She led the successful Save the Beaches campaign. This resulted in the protection of approximately a dozen street-end beaches. And Fred recently told me the story about how one of the beaches that she helped save was Pratt Beach. Hello, that's where we are, which was threatened by development. So having this site specifically named as Tobey Prinz Beach Park is an especially poignant tribute. So when Fred and I spoke on the phone last week, and I told him that I told him that I was Tobey's story because she was a seemingly ordinary person. So I have to say seemingly because nobody's really ordinary. But learning Tobey's story reminds us that seemingly ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary things. And I believe that as people in the neighborhood become aware of the new name and they learn more about Tobey Prinz, that she will serve as an inspiration, that it is worth standing up for what you believe in and protecting places that are valuable to the community, and that we should all work together to achieve larger goals. And I personally, sorry, this couldn't be personal, but I was so excited about this. I feel that Tobey has inspired me, and it's been a real honor to play a role in naming this park Tobey Prinz Beach Park. Thank you.